Episode 200 is here, and I just want to say thank you so much to all of our listeners, to all of our sponsors, to all of our patrons. We cannot do it without you guys. To find out more about how to support the 3-Bit Gamer Show, log into patreon.com/3BG. And a huge mega shout out to our boss level patrons, Christopher and Patrick. Come on, let's go. I got to get this daily.
Wait, are you playing a game right now?
No, I'm getting ready to record the podcast.
What daily are you talking about?
Recording the podcast. Dude, it's my daily every Monday.
Wait. Are you just referring to chores as dailies now?
Yeah, are you not?
Guess I am now. You've just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
And
welcome to episode 200.
Holy shit, you guys.
200 episodes?
8 more episodes makes it a clean 4 years.
Oh my
That's
God.
crazy.
4 years?
I'm never going to
kids
get
younger
that
than
back. That's weird. This podcast is older than some of your children. Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right. Our news is brought to us this week, as with all weeks, by Crave Cookies. Crave! Go over to cravecookies.com and salivate over these asinine cookies. Guys, the circus, I already talked about, got this one. Peterson, did you actually get down there this weekend?
Yeah, so I went down there and I got the circus cookie. I got the the coffee cookie, whatever that one's called.
Dude, the mochaccino pie. How
Mochaccino pie.
mind-blowing was it?
Yeah, dude, so good.
I didn't
Unreal.
expect it to be as good as it was. Like, I was like, oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be a coffee cookie. But, like, it legit tasted
Those
like a
Oreos in
mouth.
there,
It was like a mouthful of
doing
like
it
a
for me.
cappuccino. It was amazing.
Yep.
So they've got those, and then they also have the berries and cream. This is new. It's a cream cheese infused dough loaded with freeze-dried raspberries, white chocolate chip, and then a layer of raspberry filling. And then they finish it with a raspberry glaze, like a MFing donut, y'all. And then, of course, they just crumble some shortbread on the top because they needed one more ingredient.
Just one more thing. Just to hit Trent's solid 7 toppings that he has to have on every cookie.
Maybe they have to have a calorie count on the cookies. He's like, look, man, this is what we submitted to the USDA, so we have to hit this calorie count.
We didn't hit 2K, so we got to
sprinkle some shortbread on there. You know how we can get there. Okay, so our news. We've got some. God, it's all news, you guys. This is a pretty funny one. I know Stadia has been just getting a lot of crap lately flung at them, but this one kind of like they flung it at themselves, or rather just like flung it straight up. This actually seems more of like a situation where you shoot a bullet in the air and don't think there's going to be consequences. In Google's case, it's like shooting like 1 billion bullets in the air, and all those bullets are the users that they have zero plans of actually supporting them as customers.
Dude.
And they're like, dude, there's no way any of these bullets are going to come back and hit us. Well, apparently one of them did. In the latest blow to Stadia, the developer for Terraria, the lead, I think it's like the CEO or whatever.
Like the main guy.
Andrew Spinks. Terraria is a 2D Minecraft, basically. It's
kinda.
old as fuck. It's
more
on
than that.
everything. It's a big game. And this guy it just tweeted, this was yesterday. He tweeted that he lost his Google account. His Google account has been disabled for 3 weeks. This is like a guy with a developer account, right? You'd think that this would raise some flags. He says he's lost access to thousands of dollars of apps on Google Play, like everything. Like, this actually blew my mind because I was like, dude, I have to get off my Gmail account. I have 15 years of shit in my Gmail account that I was like, oh my God,
If you
Google could just
lost
disable that and I would just lose it. I guess that's never been in consideration. It absolutely should have been. But this guy has been trying for 3 weeks to get like Google on the horn the guy that's putting Terraria on the freaking Stadia, one of the few people still committed to developing games or porting their game onto Stadia, and they're like, that guy can't even get them. Imagine what you, the average consumer, can get from Google's customer service.
Dude, unreal. Yeah, all of his stuff is gone. He's out.
So
by
he
the
tweets,
way, go ahead.
I absolutely have not done anything to violate your terms of service, so I can take this as no other way than you deciding to burn this bridge. Consider it burned. Terraria for Google Stadia is canceled. My company will no longer support any of your platforms moving forward. Yikes.
Dude, shooting themselves in the foot just one more time. And Terraria doesn't need Google Stadia, right?
No, this guy doesn't.
Terraria is so popular. Every kid I know has played it. My kids love it.
Yeah.
Stadia, I would argue, needs Terraria more than Terraria needs Stadia. So I think it's a big mistake on Google's part. By the way, the game developer, he's the founder of Relogic. Guess where this is just a complete side note because I was looking them up. Their headquarters are in a place called Floyd's Knobs. Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. I want to be from Floyd's Knobs. I don't know why.
Floyd's Knobs is not somewhere you come from, Peterson. It's a place you end up.
Floyd's Knobs.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You have to go out of your way to get there. Okay, so this next one is actually kind of a bummer. This is something that they've been trying to do for a long time, but WB Games has finally secured a patent for their Nemesis system. This is the system in the Shadow of War games, Shadow of Mordor, in which I think the best way to describe it. How do you describe the Nemesis system succinctly? Could you describe it in an elevator to somebody else?
If you fight a boss, he remembers you, and he gets harder. He remembers you and talks trash to you, and he moves up the hierarchy or something. Now that he's gained prestige by beating you, so you have now gained, quote unquote, a nemesis. Because now there's a guy who killed you one time.
And you can do this strategically, too. Like, you can strategically lose to these guys because you want to bolster their skills. And then, like, as you get more and recruit more to your armies, you can then take guys who formerly may have been your nemesis, and now they're really powerful allies and take down other people.
Yep. Yeah, so, you definitely can. You can use them to take out other captains, right?
You guys, this is not worth patenting. Are you kidding me? This is so weird that they tried so hard. This was like one of multiple attempts to secure this patent. There is no reason to do this other than you're trying to bring in revenue from either A, licensing the system, which is no one's going to do, but B, suing people who didn't pay for the license that you offered. I just think it's really weird. And it sets a terrible precedent for the gaming industry, which builds upon itself like a giant pyramid, and just saying, well, you can't do this. Well, it kind of, I don't know.
This is akin to when PUBG tried to sue Fortnite or Epic Games for ripping off.
But at least then that was like an entire
PUBG.
Game genre. This is like one little niche thing. This would be like trying to patent health packs.
Well, yeah, or patent the wall closing in on a battle royale.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like,
exactly. Like, and that's okay. Like, if you get that patent, then like, great. You've screwed up like one avenue that people could build on to create something really, truly great.
Yeah,
you
like
look at
you
Fortnite
made something cool
and everything that went into it. What if some a-hole back, I don't know, the first time they had a building game like this with a set build table like Fortnite has, but what if they'd patented that 10 years before Fortnite? Then Fortnite wouldn't be able to build on that. Like, that's what makes games so great.
Yeah. Patenting systems in games, I don't think is...
It's like patenting filmmaking techniques. Great. Now all our other movies suck. Thanks, asshole.
You just halted the progress of the medium. When which I don't know. And the
And
problem is, I think they named it, and so it became a thing. Like, you know what the Nemesis system is, but they should have just, I don't know, they should have let it be, because somebody could do something better with it, right? They made a thing that's cool. Someone could have taken it and made like you said, made something great, and that's disappointing as a consumer, because I think they've done well with the Nemesis system, but I want to see what an indie dev or something could do with it, right? I don't want to see what WB could do with it more. I want to see what everyone can do with it.
Dude, okay, so Kill Switch. Do you remember the video game Kill Switch?
Nope.
Kill Switch came out in 2003, and it was the first game to feature a cover system where you press A and you duck into cover automatically, and then you shoot over the cover or around it, depending on where you are. Kill Switch was not a good game, and Kill Switch was resoundingly like panned for feeling like a demo and not feeling like a fully fleshed out game. 3 years later, Gears of War was released. Gears of War, like, if you look at a development timeline, 3 years is about how long it would take a studio to see a system like the cover system in Kill Switch and adapt it to the game that they're making. They built on that. On a crappy game that had and just think, had Kill Switch this made by this dinky little studio, I think, actually I don't actually know who, but say that Kill Switch was like, no, we're taking this system with us to the grave. Yeah, it was Namco, so dinky now. Say that we're going to take this to the grave, and then Kill Switch kind of bombs out, and Namco's like, oh, we're not going to bother with it, and then like all the games, like Grand Theft Auto 4 came out a couple of years after that with a fully fleshed out cover system. That was like integral to making that game, the combat in that game, so good. I don't know. I think this is really, really bad. It sets a bad precedent. I hope they don't use this to patent future systems.
Yeah,
that would make me sad.
Yeah, that would be awful.
Okay, so this is... I demanded an apology from Peterson last week for not bringing this to my attention. I know we had kind of...
I'm so sorry. The episode was full. It was kind of late coming.
He knew how long this would take me to get to.
And JD found it, was so excited, and I was like, oh yeah, I read that last week. And
how dare you?
Like, if you could glare at somebody through a text message, that's what I got.
I wasn't even mad. I was just disappointed. This is yet another piece in Bloomberg from our boy Jason Schreier. This time it is a look at an inside, in-depth look at Amazon Game Studios and everything that's gone wrong there over the last couple of years. I really want to start this segment. It's going to feel like a segment, folks. Buckle up. If you don't want to know anything more about Amazon Game Studios, mash the fast forward 30 seconds button 20 times, because I'm going to talk about this for a minute. So, Amazon Game Studios, you guys voted for them for the Blursty, for our worst.
Well done, guys. Seriously.
By like a large margin. It was like almost 70%. And we had some pretty good stinker studios this year. Like, I think Gearbox was on there, and they didn't pay their employees their bonuses. But no, you guys know best.
Sexual harassment.
Ubisoft was terrible. But no, you guys know best, and you knew that Amazon Game Studios was trash. I think it's so funny because this article came out like a week after, or like 2 weeks after the Blursty results came in. It was perfect timing. I'm so proud of you guys. You really sniffed this one out. Maybe it was our Blursty that raised all this attention, and
Jason Schreier's paying attention.
He listens. Thanks, Jason, for that. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of go through some of the points and highlight some of the points of this article. You guys really should read it. It's on Bloomberg. Don't pay for their play wall. Just open it in an incognito window. Bing, bang, boom. Done. So I just want to read the very first line of this because it's too good. Mike Frazzini had never made a video game when he helped start Amazon Game Studios. 8 years later, he has released 2 duds, withdrew both from stores after a torrent of negative reactions, and canceled many more. Ew, Jason doesn't use an Oxford comma? Ugh. That is fucking disappointing.
Wow, JD is one of those.
That. I was like, ugh,
like
reads
so
weird.
offended by it.
Well, it's a long sentence.
I know, but it was just funny that you were so offended by the Oxford comma. Very divisive.
I guess so. It's just so easy to do it. Okay, so this guy, the article kind of centers around Mike Frazzini, who was the head of Amazon Game Studios, and just the absolute. I mean, he's the guy we've been talking about for 2 years or more. The know-it-all higher up at a game studio that ruins it and makes it hard to function.
He's not from gaming, guys. Frazzini is not from.
He's
gaming.
from Amazon. He's just an
from
internal Amazon guy, a book nerd. Get out of here! What kind of nerd reads books,
dude? Unreal. Yeah, Bezos was like, let's see, you're the book guy. Books are nerdy.
This sounds
Video
like a
games
great
are nerdy.
option.
That's a good fit.
Video
Go
games
do
are
the other
nerdy.
nerd stuff.
So he does the traditional thing that all of these tech bros do, which is just go hire a bunch of big names and spend a bunch of money on it. This is honestly, I'm calling it the Theranos model because they. I feel like it just sums it up perfectly. You just go get a bunch of big names, you advertise them. They had he got the creators of EverQuest and Portal, some executives from EA, which should have been a red flag, and then he just ignored all their advice. He kept saying that every Amazon game needs to be a quote $1 billion franchise.
Oh gosh!
And then he would not staff the projects for a $1 billion franchise. Frazzini, bro, you want a $1 billion game? You have to spend $2 billion on it. You can't force it.
No, my God.
You get
every
one
game
Fortnite in a generation.
$1 billion franchise?
Yeah, dude. How many? Okay, so Fortnite, League of Legends, World of Warcraft, StarCraft 2. Name some other $1 billion franchises. Most of the games I just named came out before 2010. Like, you don't get fucking lucky. That just happens like once every 5
do
years.
It because you want to.
Do it. You have to fucking put in the work, Frazzini, you douchebag.
He does. I'm looking at the picture of him right now, and yeah, this is the guy I had in mind. By the way,
and this is the best part. This is my favorite part. Executives under Frazzini initially rejected charges that New World, as an Amazon game that would ask players to colonize a mythical land and murder inhabitants who bear a striking resemblance to Native Americans, was racist. They relented after Amazon hired a tribal consultant who found that the portrayal was indeed offensive, say 2 people who worked on the project. Are you fucking serious? My jaw was on the fucking floor when I read this.
Dude.
We're still doing this? We're still doing kill the scary Indian guy with bow and arrows? Are we fucking serious right now in 2021?
The colonizers come in, kill
the colonizers
natives.
Are the good guys? Are you fucking serious? We're not even doing that anymore. We haven't done that since Fern Gully. You're saying you made a Fern Gully where the fucking guys that are coming with the tractors are the good guys? Are you serious?
You made Avatar where the good guys are the mining corporation?
And Frazzini is like, obviously they're the good guys. They're the businessmen. What's wrong with you douchebags?
Well, they didn't need a tribal consultant. Anyone could have told them that this was not a good idea.
Shit! What are you thinking? Frazzini! Can you imagine having your own head so very far up your own ass that you can't see this as being remotely offensive, and you literally have to hire somebody to come in and their whole job is just pointing at your game and saying, "Oh, that's offensive." Oh, the feathers? Oh, Mike, like, like, that's fucking, like, the boat, the thing where they're like making the noise while they tap their mouth with their palm. Come on, like, you fucking put that in there?
We're not doing that anymore.
There's heavy drums every time they come on the screen. We're doing that?
This is the same year we have a football team called the Washington Football Team.
No, but we still got the Cleveland Indians, who just barely got rid of Wahoo, their fucking mascot, in 2018.
Are you
kidding me?
Read the room. Read
the
room,
fucking
people.
room, everybody.
Where have you been?
So that's just like the shitty racist cherry on top of this big shit sundae. But he also, these are some other fun details that are absolutely mind blowing to me. Amazon is currently spending $500 million a year on their video game division. $500 million, and you can't even get a game out the door. Guys, start with a Tetris, like anything. Just get a quick win. We call those quick wins. Just like, can we just license Tetris for, I don't know, the Kindle Fire? Can we just make that? Can we get fucking something under our belt? No, we're going to start with $1 billion franchise with, what did Jeff Bezos ask? 10,000 people in a single game session? Yeah, because guess what? Bezos has been demanding this get set up, not because he cares about video games or he even thinks that it's a viable market or he thinks he can make money off of video games. He wants more people on their AWS servers because, guys, I've mentioned this before on the podcast. I cannot emphasize enough. Amazon is not that big of a deal. AWS, Amazon Web Services, their servers, which half the internet is stored on, represent 73% of all of Amazon's profits. Every single thing Google is doing is trying to siphon off and suck your data like some demon, just gobbling off the details of your family tree. Same thing with Facebook, but Amazon just wants you to just have so much crap on their servers that they just build so many servers and the entire planet is just servers. That's their deal. And so this would represent, I don't know, 10,000 people in a single game session. Wow, you need some serious servers for that. Where can we get those servers? So the whole point of Amazon Game Studios is to just have a crap ton of people on AWS servers. That's the core drive from the business side. There's, how could I mention this? This almost seems like an aside or a given at this point. Amazon Game Studios had the requisite sexism and bro culture in their studios because
just mix that in. That's just
that is the one thing they're like, we got to be authentic. We got to be an authentic game studio. Where do we start? And everyone raised their hands and they're like sexism. And then the two women that were there raised their hands a little bit higher. They're like, it's sexism. That's what it's sexism.
Oh man, you guys are right. Yeah, you're right.
It's not going to feel like a really authentic game studio until you guys are really shitty toward us. So yeah, I guess.
Can we
sexism.
talk? Oh my gosh, can we talk about Frazzini playing the prototype for a second?
It doesn't even know anything. He's a fucking know nothing.
Frazzini. So it's kind of I guess it's like an industry practice, right? It's a common. It's a ritual, right? Where the boss plays the early prototype.
Design review. Come on. We all do it.
So he does that. Here's his comments that they have written down. Why is it this color? And seems fun. When will it be ready? That's it. That's your feedback? Why is it this color? He has no idea what he's doing. Guys, this is his third time playing a video game. His last time was 8 years ago when he accidentally picked up an iPad that his kid was playing, and Minecraft was still on it.
Dude, when you see in a sitcom or a commercial, and someone is quote unquote playing a video game, but their fingers are moving wrong, and you don't know how necessarily. You couldn't really pin it down, but you just know. It's wrong. They're not playing a game. They're just pretending to play a game. That is Mike Frazzini's. That's how he learned how to play games, is watching those clips. That's exclusively his exposure to video games right there, is seeing a video game played in a sitcom. He just doesn't get it. And then
understand.
This is the other thing that I saw that I was crazy, is that it said some meetings were sidetracked when Frazzini, armed with the latest VentureBeat article about whatever game was making the most money that month, demanded they chase a new trend.
Yes.
Dude, this is why you guys really everyone should go on HBO and watch Silicon Valley, with Mike Judge developed, the guy that did Office Space and Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill. This just seems like an episode of Silicon Valley. The disconnected idiot boss that is getting given an ungodly amount of power and money to do something that he has absolutely no fucking earthly idea how to do. And he's going to be so confident in doing it.
Yes.
It's insane. This whole thing is so nuts. And the final thing, this is something that we keep seeing repeated, and hopefully someone maybe at some point will learn from this. They tried to force all of their games and their developers to use their internal game engine called Lumberyard.
Oh, the popular engine Lumberyard.
Oh, I've heard of Lumberyard all the time. All my friends know about Lumberyard. So they tried to reinvent the wheel and then build a car on their reinvented wheel, which were like, we've got wheels. We did that like 2,000 years ago. They're like, no, we're going to reinvent. This is the exact same thing that Anthem struggled with. This was a huge hurdle for Anthem developers that were forced to use the Frostbite engine, which is EA's internal development engine, instead of BioWare's in-house engine, and that just screwed them up. And so these are developers that you've recruited from all over the industry that are very familiar with the two common game development engines, and you are like, no, we're not going to use either of those. We're going to use our own. I don't know. And I forgot this. I highlighted this because I did want to read this. I'm sorry, this is going back and retreading. I just want to read this. This is so insane to me. Like, there's no argument that this game wasn't like holistically racist from its inception, and I can't believe this. Listen to this. Amazon shifted many of the Crucible developers to work on New World. The project was originally pitched as a survival game in which people would play as colonists in a fictional version of 1600s America, fighting enemies that looked a lot like indigenous people. The original codename for the game was Roanoke, named after Sir Walter Raleigh's failed settlements in the 16th century. They literally were making like a game where it was a survival game set in Roanoke, in which the Native Americans were like crazy monsters that came at night to kill you, and then you needed to bring someone in to be like, that's not okay. That's the guy they gave $500 million to and were like, make a video game. And we're all sitting here like, whoa, how did that not work? Dude. Whoa, that's incredible. Mike Frazzini wasn't able to do this. He seems so qualified and intelligent, and so with such an abundance of common sense.
This whole story, honestly, everyone listening, this story is wild. I mean, we have scratched the surface. I'm not kidding. We've scratched the surface. There's so much in it. You need to go read this. I feel like
this is the best one since the Anthem one he did.
Anyone going to school for game development needs to be a case study. It is so bad. They have made every single mistake, and they are paying $500 million a year to do it. They don't know what they're doing. This is wild.
Stop empowering shitty people. I mean, this is basically, the article is like, yeah, he's just like a Jeff Bezos butt buddy. They were just buddies. They were just like best friends, and so that's... Anyway, okay, so...
It's a good story.
It was a really good one. You guys got to read it. Okay, so this is another one that was some more drama in the game developer community. The director of Ori, what is his name? Thomas Mahler. This is the game director at Moon Studios, the guys that make Ori, Will of the Wisps, and Blind Forest. He left a post on Resetera, which is a gaming forum, about studios overhyping games. And honestly, dude, I feel like just kind of reading it.
We can't. It's pretty long. We can't read the whole thing. But
what about this?
Lot of
you guys should read this. So basically, he calls out three people specifically, or I guess I should say three games. He calls out Peter Molyneux, who, if you remember, a million years ago was infamous within that. Well, he was famous and then became infamous in the gaming world for overhyping games, and he would say things that his games could do that they could not do.
That were impossible.
Yeah, he was the guy that was in charge of Fable, and if you're wondering like whatever happened to Fable, well, there you go. He just blew so much smoke and promised so much stuff, and it was at a time when...
Well, one of the points he makes in this is that they promise everything. This game can do anything. Whatever you want to do, this game can do it. And that's like one of the common themes. He starts with Peter Molyneux. Why can't I say that?
Molyneux, I don't know. And then, he mentions Sean Murray, the guy behind No Man's Sky, calls him out extensively as a snake oil salesman. And then finally he calls out Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red, and just he's relentless. He is very, very open and honest about how annoyed he is that not only are game developers doing this more and more often in game studios, but the gamers keep falling for it and rewarding this behavior.
Yes.
The funniest
gaming media rewards this behavior. They get all the hype. They get all of the stories. Everyone's talking about them, right? Which is what they want. But when they are making promises they can't keep, he's saying we need to stop rewarding this behavior, or it's going to keep happening, and you guys are getting screwed, and we're getting screwed.
And he seemed personally chagrined by No Man's Sky specifically because he had been bumped from a cover story or something for Ori back in 2014 by No Man's Sky. And then, of course, No Man's Sky turned into the shit show it was. The only reason he was bumped and the only reason that No Man's Sky got the attention it did was because of the things that Sean Murray was promising it would do.
It's the bigger game, is what they told him.
And so it is kind of funny to me. This is coming from the guy that made Ori, which is such like a peaceful and serene game, that he just comes out honestly with major JD energy. This is
serious JD energy.
Yeah, he's heated. And the best part is he later apologized. He wrote an apology to GameIndustry.biz or whatever for his aggressive tone and that he wasn't representing his company well, which, I mean, it's like we got the best of both worlds. We got this like extremely raw, honest breakdown of someone in the industry who's been very frustrated by the same things people outside of the industry are frustrated, which is people overhyping their games. And then he's like, I'm just sorry, man. So we like don't even have to feel like he's a total asshole, because he's like, I've learned a lot about like communicating all this stuff. So I was like, this is great. This is a real feel good story. I loved it.
So there's some salt. There's some apology.
Yeah, there's something for everyone, guys. Right. And then this is our last thing. 2021 is the lost year, folks, for games. And I think I saw somewhere that Phil Spencer mentioned this. And so it's kind of crazy and I was like, why didn't I think about this? Because we do talk about it a lot. Is that 2021, the reason these games are going to keep getting bumped or canceled or moved or pushed or whatever. Get pumped. These games are going to get pumped. Is because this is the year we're actually going to see like the consequences from 2020 in terms of game development. Because any games that were coming out, like say they were coming out supposed to come out in like mid 2020, well, yeah, that means they were almost done and you could polish them up and get them done. But the games that were like maybe set to come out in 2021, like Q3, well, all of that got totally screwed up by COVID and lockdowns and people going. And so I think that 2021 is going to be the year of the backlog. 2 more games have been delayed. Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2. It was indicated in an Activision Blizzard earnings call? Yeah, an Activision earnings call that they do not expect Overwatch 2 or Diablo 4 to release this year.
I don't think that's even a surprise, though, at this point. I feel like every anticipated game so far has been moved.
Yeah, but it's still a hit, man. I mean, they said they're not... Blizzard's already said they're not adding any more new characters to Overwatch until Overwatch 2 comes out. Or rather that they're like done or whatever.
So and that's like a year of no new characters?
Yep.
Ooh.
And I don't think the last one came... I think the last one came out in like April of last year.
Oh my gosh.
So here's the thing. I just want to know what the hell Activision Blizzard is doing. Can I just ask, where is Diablo Immortal?
Yeah, like, I thought that was...
Where is anything you guys are working on?
That's a good point.
Like, you just... Oh, my goodness. I just have no... I just... you guys have fired a bunch of people. You've cut a lot of staff on certain games and support for certain games. You don't really do as many esports as you used to. I'm like, what are you doing? What is your point?
Honestly, 2021 would be a great year for you guys to release Diablo Immortal. Because even if it's not great, what else do we have?
Something. It will be the only game that comes out this year.
We don't have much more. And so, just release it, guys. Just put it out.
Okay.
Be a win for you.
Let's move on.
Kudos.
All right. Kudos is our positivity segment. We'd like to give a shout out to something we're way into. And I have kudos this week for something that made Peterson almost vomit. So
Yes.
I don't know. It's kind of a mixed kudos, folks. White Castle. I have not had White Castle fresh at a real White Castle restaurant. I had it once in a Vegas White Castle, which I don't think counts.
Not a good experience for JD.
No, on the Strip. Not a great one. But so here's this whole story. It's a stupid story. You guys know, anyone listens to this podcast for more than 2 episodes, that I have a garbage palate and eat the dumpster food that people see in the freezers at Walmart, and they're like, who the fuck eats that? Me, folks. So I got these
If
mini...
it looks really gross, JD probably has it in his fridge or freezer.
I just have to I'm like, someone made that food. It's for someone. Why can't that someone be me? So I had that exact thought process recently at Target when I saw that they had mini cheeseburgers in the freezer aisle, like Target brand. And I'm like, who the fuck am I? I'm too good for a mini cheeseburger in the freezer. Who do you think you are, JD? And I was like, no, I'm not better than that. So I was like, hell yeah. So I grabbed them and I ate. I loved them. They were pretty good. I put ketchup on them and they were all right. And then I got them again and I ate them all. And I was like, dude, maybe I'm into frozen burgers. Maybe this is my jam. And then I just had this epiphany while I was standing in the aisle at Target. And I'm like looking at these off-brand janky Target burgers, and then right below them are the White Castles. And like, you dumb shit. If you're enough of a garbage person to get the Target brand, why not?
Ooh, yeah.
Why not church it up a little bit and get some White Castle?
Dumb,
like
man.
la di fucking da. You can eat these things with your pinky out, man. Like, I felt fancy. Take them home, put them in the fridge so they can thaw, microwave them for 40 seconds. Man alive. These are so good. They taste like real meat. I don't know why. The other ones tasted like the meat you might get at a fair where you're like, I don't know what this is. This is sketch. You like get a burger at a state fair. The meat in the White Castle burgers tastes like real meat. I like that. And they have onions. It's just onions, and I love onions. It's just onions, cheese, and meat. They're so good. I want to hear your take.
I'm going to give an anti-kudos because we got these same frozen burgers and we heated
you ate them
up.
wrong. You must have ate them wrong.
I guess we heated up our burgers wrong, but because JD says you got to let them thaw first, which seems wrong. But
in the fridge,
we ate them. I took one bite, chewed it, spit it out, threw it away. Graham, who my son Graham, his favorite food is burgers. So he's like, him and JD are on the same page, right? He loves burgers. Every time we try it, we go out, we're like, okay, what should we go eat?
Burgers.
He says burgers, literally every time. And so he took a bite, did not eat it, didn't finish it. We threw the rest of them away and the box away. I thought they were so bad. I would rather just spend the time to make my own burger than heat some of these up because they were not good to me. But JD loves them. And online, I'll be honest, online I read reviews because I was like, I can't be the only one, right? I kind of am the only one. Online people are like, these are the best frozen burgers you can possibly eat. They're incredible. They're amazing. I kind of want to try it again.
I think you might want to give it just one more go. I know, because here, I got to be honest. I'll just be honest with you guys, with the listeners. When I had those ones in Vegas, I ordered like 10 or whatever because I was drunk because I was on this trip in Vegas.
They're tiny.
And I was like, okay, cool, I'll get 10. And I get the bag. And they were making them all up on the flatbed. I was like, this is kind of cool. I get the bag and I like opened it to look inside. And I got hit with like what smelled like a wave of hot vomit. Like human vomit. It was so repulsive that like I don't think I even ate one. I think I might have pulled them out and like looked at them, but I was like, there's no way. Like physiologically could not get these past my lips. My body wouldn't let me. And so it was a big step for me to buy him in the freezer section, but I felt like
all right,
I'll
try him. I'll try him again. Next time I go to the store, I'm going to grab a box. I'm going to try.
If you come back and you're like, no, JD, you're insane. They're disgusting. I won't fight you on it.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird thing to want a microwave cheeseburger, but they just hit for me. I got a box at Dan's. I had to dig in the back because they don't have a big market for them. And you can, when you get a box and you can just shake it and you just know it's like half frosty ice inside. Didn't matter. These were freezer burned to shit. They still came out great. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just gross.
This just in. JD actively has
botulism
COVID because he cannot taste food anymore. I figured it out. You have coronavirus.
That's how they test. Is if you go back and buy a second box of White Castles, they just like quietly arrest you and put a hood over your head.
They're like, Come on, you should not be out in the store right now. You should be at home,
5
quarantined.
masks. Yeah. All right. Do you have any kudos? Or do you want to move on?
No, let's move on. How dare you? What gives you the right? Oh, you're going down, buddy.
Listener emails.
Okay, so you guys may have realized, because we mentioned it, that this is episode 200 for us. We reached out and asked you guys to leave us voicemails and call in, and you guys responded with a resounding no. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do your podcast content for you.
Guys, that's rude.
No,
Sometimes
I respect the hell out of you guys.
To do it for us. No, but honestly, like we knew it would be a shot in the dark because we were asking like, what were your favorite moments? And if you asked me what my favorite 3-bit moments were,
and I'm here for all of them,
I'd have to think for a while. And sometimes people bring stuff up and I don't remember it. Yeah. Guys, my memory is short, and and so I don't blame anyone for being like, what was my favorite moment,
Or if you don't have one, because they're all kind of like downers, like that's fine.
Is this the Downer podcast? What do you guys listen to after our show to cheer back up? That's what I need to know.
Our audience is exclusively people that have determined there's too much joy in their lives and they just need to bring things down.
Just down a notch.
They're like, this is an extremely efficient way to do it. I listen to this podcast 90 minutes a week and I'm just leveled.
They like the roller coaster.
Yeah.
They got to go down. Things are too good. They got to listen to some 3-bit. I get it now.
But we did get one of our listeners, now our current favorite listener, Sean Studstill, reached out and left us.
Shots fired.
Yeah, he sent us an email.
Sean Studstill. By the way, his last name is awesome. Studstill. Yes. I thought it was just his Gmail account name or something.
Right.
Nope, that's his name, Studstill.
Or like an awesome gamer tag that you'd use, but nope, that's his name. Silverthorn, he's coming for you.
Oh, I don't know. Silverthorn is. That's the best. That's the best one.
But yeah, so Sean wrote in and said that the 3-Bit Gamer Show is his favorite podcast of all time and that he's been listening since the first year of the show.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, and he says he goes back and listens to our old episodes, which is so awesome, and we love that you do that. That's so funny because I sometimes go back and listen to old ones. But Sean did chastise us, and it's
thoroughly,
fair.
By the way, thoroughly.
Dressed us down. And he
did it right. He started with the positive. He's like, I love you guys.
The little sandwich.
Year one. And then he comes down. He's like, okay, bud, I gotta get something off my chest. And he did. We were going to read it, but even he admits it's a long email. There's like 4 or 5 paragraphs of chastisement. So,
but the point is that, and I think Sean makes a fair point, that we have been we're very harsh on AAA games and AAA game studios. And I think we definitely get carried away. I would like to say, mea culpa, Sean. I think I mentioned this a couple episodes ago. I have been so into AAA, these big high production games since I was playing like Watch Dogs 2 and Shadow of Mordor, and now I got Ubisoft Plus, so I can play all these Ubisoft games. Like, and so no, you're right, Sean. We need them both because if we just had indie games, I would have nowhere to just pour so much time just checking off tasks.
Well, and you don't have. So he makes a good point. He said, indie games don't make the beautifully realistic looking games that AAA studios can. They just don't have the budget for it. And I get that. He brings up 3 games specifically. He brings up Last of Us Part 2, which we've talked a lot of crap about, right? And this, I did not play the game. I am fine talking crap about it. And I will say, if I played it, I promise you I would play at least 10 hours of this game. I probably wouldn't finish it. And not because it's not good, but because it's the type of game I bounce off of. I would probably enjoy it for 10 hours. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd probably enjoy parts of it. Then he talks about Final Fantasy VII. Again, I did not play the original or the remake. One. Trent loved it. And I think, and that's fair. I mean, that's fair. I've only heard good things about it. Our only complaint was like, it was winning a lot of Game of the Year award. It was, that sort of thing in a year rife with new games, but he brings up a good point. He said, this feels like a new game. So yes, absolutely. You got us on that one. And the last one is Death Stranding, which, okay, look, this one was so
come on. They
easy
just had a baby in a thing. It was just, the jokes wrote themselves.
Look, this is who we are. The 3 Bit Gamer Show. We can't help ourselves. JD and I cannot help ourselves from making fun of something this crazy and wacky.
Nope.
Now, again, did not play the game. I am more than happy to make fun of it. And if I played it, look, you know how compulsive I am in games. I would probably enjoy a lot of the game and then bounce off after 20 hours. That's just what would happen. But I would probably enjoy it. So you're right. We do crap on AAAs. They do give us the best fodder. And also, I'll say, just from a show standpoint, I feel bad making fun of indie studios that are really
the classic rule of comedy: punch up.
Yes.
Don't punch down.
Don't punch, because look, these guys are actually, and for the most part, if it's like a little indie studio that's making like real porny games, I'll make fun of them all day. But if they're like making real games and putting their heart and soul into it,
that seems less of a punch and more of like a shoe motion. Like, get out of here!
Why are you?
Fuck! Quit trying to mingle with the normal games. Get out of here, you weirdo! Yeah. Hentai.
Yes, we're not. Look, this is not my thing. I don't want you here.
We're not ready to accept you yet.
You are infecting my whole Steam store, though, and I just have to ignore you. But no, so you're right, Sean. I'll say this: absolutely right. It's part of like the thing we do on the show. AAA games, we love them. I get more excited about most AAA games than I do for like upcoming indie games. And maybe that's because they hype them better, but they are easier to make fun of. So, there's a little bit of both in there. But Sean, I will take this. We'll both have a
This is great feedback. This is great constructive feedback. And I love constructive feedback, you guys. Mm-hmm. Like that is not joking. So if you guys have feedback,
I was not offended.
We're driving you nuts. Yeah. Let us know, because we're probably driving more people than you nuts.
Yeah.
But I think that's fair, and I like injecting a little sanity into our sometimes blinding hatred for AAA studios. It's the studios. The games are generally okay, but when I have a studio that I'm like, you're grinding people to dust while you are treating them poorly, and then you produce Crucible.
Okay, Sean, here's the deal I'll make. We will turn the sanity knob up like 3 or 4%, okay, and see how that gets us. We're not going to go full sane, But we'll turn it up a couple of percent, okay?
You go
And
too
see where
fast,
that
it'll
lands us.
kill you. You go way too fast, it'll kill you. Okay, so that brings us to this one.
Don't play no reindeer games with me.
Reindeer games, which Peterson, I don't know. I legit went back through 200 episodes worth of notes and dug through all of this stuff, and I still could not find the origin of reindeer games. I have no idea why we started calling it this. Reindeer games is our segment where we play goofy little games on the podcast. Don't know why we call it that. That's
Okay,
just what it
think,
is.
I think I remember because yes, I was going through a lot of the chat and stuff too. I didn't get to this, but I think I remember this was as is with like half of our segment names. This was a placeholder name because we were like, oh, what are we going to call our 3-bit games segment where we're playing games? And JD was like reindeer games because he's heard that phrase before.
Because word association is the game I am best at. Very
and so
skilled.
We just stuck with it. I am 90% sure it was supposed to be a placeholder.
Well, here it is, guys. Reindeer games for episode 200 is 3-Bit Gamer Show trivia. We've done our research. We've done our homework. I spent like 4 hours on Sunday listening to my own voice, far more than I'd ever like to. I'd just like to say in advance to everyone that's listened to it for the last 200 episodes, sorry, but also thank you.
I don't think they're listening to like 5 hours straight. That's the thing.
If they were, we would have 0 listeners.
They'd be like, I'm done.
I can't do it, JD. I can't do it. Okay, so Reindeer Games, 3-Bit Gamer Show trivia, where we're just going to make up points and scoring, and I'll probably end up winning because Peterson has more questions. So
Wait, you're not going to win.
Have
you learned nothing?
I'll start easy. We'll go back and forth, I guess. We just play this whatever free form. If you have a question that has a parent and child, go for it. But I'll just go for my first one. Peterson, how many producers has the 3-Bit Gamer Show had?
How many producers? Oh, gosh, this is a loaded question because we started with Dylan. Dylan was the producer. And then I guess it's your definition of producer. So it was Dylan. Then we moved over from Broadway Media over to Dylan and Spencer's studio, which I don't know, 4? I'm going to say 4. What
It's 3, right?
Dang it. So
Dylan, Spencer, and you.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were counting producers as like the company was the producer.
No, because that's my next question. How many places have we recorded physically?
Okay. Hold on.
Name them.
Okay, so we have Broadway Media, then Studio One. I can't remember what it was called. What was it called?
Podspace?
Podspace. No. Yes. I can't remember. Podspace. Then Pod Mill. Then JD's Basement. And now At Home.
Right.
5? Is it 5? Or are you counting like all the places we've ever recorded?
I said recorded physically. Ever recorded.
So we've recorded at 1Con. It was Salt Lake Gaming Con.
Okay.
We recorded at BlizzCon.
Okay.
At BlizzCon, we also recorded at the house we were staying at BlizzCon.
Okay.
We recorded we recorded in your house one time, episode 100. We recorded a bunch of segment intros. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't even know what I'm at now. I was doing it on my fingers, and then I started over. So on my fingers, I'm saying 3, which is I've already named like 8 places. So
you definitely named more than 3. You named 9, which is correct.
Oh my gosh, that's so many.
That is a lot of places. We've carted our shit all the way to California and back.
Yeah.
We have really done a lot, and then
we recorded live. Oh, wait, we recorded at
shit.
Salt. What was it called?
Gamer X, Fan X?
Yeah, Fan X. We recorded there too.
Or Salt Lake Comic Con.
We had an interview with
10.
Oh my gosh, with Stephen Crow and with Gabe from
Yeah.
Retro Gamers, right?
Yep. That was
Dude.
crazy.
Dude, yeah, we've been all over, and we've used all sorts of equipment. We had the Broadway media equipment at first, and then we had
So, guys, I
portable
want
thing
you to
that we've used.
appreciate we have never missed an episode. We have published weekly for 4 years. There are a lot of podcasts that don't do that. So I'm just patting myself on the back.
Yeah,
I'm
patting myself
you on the back.
You should pat me on the back too.
I'm reaching through and I'm patting you while I pat myself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of back
man.
patting going on because that is a lot of movement. And at one point we went from, we changed studios 3 times in like a month. So that was kind of crazy. Okay. I
got
want
one
a question.
Want me
I
to do it
one.
for you?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Very early on, Spencer had a nemesis. Who was it and why?
Oh my God. A nemesis.
Yes. I hope you don't remember because you're going to die when I remind
Was
you.
it Cowherd?
No.
Oh, it wasn't one of the celebrities he went after, was it?
No. Celebrity is a
Was it? It
very
wasn't.
loose term here.
It wasn't like one of the sports guy that he like.
Yes, dude.
Colin Cowherd. Colin.
No.
What is his fucking name?
No. Think basketball. Think jazz. Give up?
Yeah.
Josh Barney from the from the NBA 2K Jazz, Utah Jazz NBA 2K team. He was the manager for it. We met this guy at a convention. Great guy. Spencer wanted in on whatever Josh was doing. He tried so many times. Josh would not return anything from him. I had a card. He wouldn't return emails. He wouldn't return phone calls. I would tweet him one time from my personal Twitter account. He responded to me every single time. Immediately. Within the hour, Spencer he didn't get one response.
So salty. I
He was
remember
so
that
mad.
now. His rival, dude. It's just because like
At
Josh
the
just
end,
didn't
if
get
you
his
said Josh
messages.
Barney, he was so mad.
that's all it took. He just did not like Josh. Oh, Josh Barney.
We saw Josh at a second con after I'd been talking to him. He remembered me. Me and him chatted for a while. He introduced me to some people. Spencer refused to talk to him. Oh my gosh. Dude,
That's
so
awesome.
good. Okay. It's question number 2. Let's see. We did at one point a bracket style celebrity death match for March Madness.
March Madness.
Okay, who won?
Master
If you-
Chief.
I had a multiple choice, and you didn't even need it.
Nope. And he beat out the Doom guy. And the Doom guy barely edged out Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. When I look back at this, I'm like, ooh, some of these are wrong.
One of my favorite things from March Madness is we put a lot of effort into this. You guys, if you don't remember March Madness, it was like a year into the podcast, and we were like, let's see what we were just trying stuff, which I gotta say, another backpat. We have gotten really experimental on this fucking podcast.
We've done so many weird things.
Weird stuff, but we were like, all right, let's do March Madness and like let's do a bracket of popular video game characters and then talk about who would win in a fight on the episode. And we did all this work and put us all into it. And then like at the end of the day, I think we did a listener survey and everyone's like, yeah, I think I really fucking hated March Madness. We were like, oh,
And they were like, you didn't
Damn
even
it.
include Kratos in there. Kratos. Like, if you did a Google search for like most popular video game characters, he's on there.
guys.
He was not in our list. We had Timo on there though.
Yeah, it was a different time. It was a different era. Okay, Peterson, here's one for you. How many episodes have we recorded without you?
Without me,
Without you.
1.
Ding, ding, ding. Yep. It
One
was an
episode.
early episode. And do you remember who the guest was? For a bonus point.
Lynn.
Yep. So Lynn subbed in for Peterson. And that is a fun episode.
That's a wild one.
That is a wild one where Lynn has no stop her and she just goes. I mean, typically that's how it goes.
That's
anyway,
why we bring her in.
That's why we bring her in. But man, she just ran with it. It was awesome.
Okay. So here I'm gonna skip over some of my questions. What was the most upset I've been at you since we started recording?
The Papusa incident.
I had 4 options. Should have gone to bed. Reindeer games. Shooting down my reindeer game idea. Still a little salty about.
Wait, which one was it?
Where I wanted to actually play with the reindeer.
Oh my God. To
Okay.
date, the worst fucking suggestion you've ever made on this podcast. Still blows my mind that you're like not pulling a long con on me and it's not just been a joke.
Would have been epic. I'm gonna propose it next year. So
no,
just
dude,
be on board.
like we're gonna be sitting on a porch in like 80 years on some rocking chairs, and you're gonna lean over to me and you're like, "Hey, remember?"
And I'm gonna be like,
"Remember the reindeer games?" And I'm like, "Yeah." You're like, "I was just fucking with you."
Vixen.
I'll be
Vixen
like,
was a dating sim.
I knew it.
I knew you had to be. You bastard.
There's no way you could have been serious about that stupid idea. No,
Okay.
it was the Papusa
The
incident.
most mad I have been, and it was over nothing. We used to go out to eat when we recorded at Broadway Media. We used to go out to eat before each episode to kind of like prep, right? To just like be all on the same page. And I suggested pupusas, and both Spencer and JD were like, I've never even heard of that. We're not getting your weird foreign food that we've never eaten before. We don't want to have diarrhea mid-episode. And I was like, no, pupusas aren't weird, you guys. They're so good. And so I'm trying to sell them to them, and they are just being belligerent. And if there's one thing that's going to piss me off, it's being belligerent about food.
See, that was the thing, is you're omitting from the story is what actually happened is that Peterson proposed pupusas. Spencer made an offhand remark about it giving him diarrhea, and then I watched how insanely mad that made Peterson, and I just tossed some gasoline on the fire.
Yes.
Like, this is hilarious.
Guys, I was legitimately mad, though. Like
he showed up mad to the episode to record. I don't know if we ate anywhere. I think we just like ended up getting like burgers or something.
I'm pretty sure I didn't go to eat with you guys.
Oh, you did, because you went and got pupusas on your own, and me and Spencer went and got something.
Dude, I was so salty that you wouldn't even consider. And they're not weird. That's the thing. Oh,
no,
gosh, I could just
it's
get
just
into
like
this.
no.
There's nothing odd about them.
No, it's a dumpling.
You guys, I was so mad. This was the most mad I've ever been over a food discussion, and I don't get mad. I don't get mad, and I was legitimately
very level-headed
worked up.
dude, but that's why I jumped on this, because I knew it was good.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one for you. Which popular segment was introduced in the same breath as our very first Fred Durst joke? You can either guess this, or I can give you a multiple choice.
I think it's Dice of Destiny.
Dang.
Am I right?
I think the multiple choice may have screwed you up because I had the Blursties on there.
No, I knew it was Dice of Destiny because we were like, what should we call it? I wanted to call it Keep Rolling.
Ooh.
And then we were like, keep rolling. Right? And then and then it began. That's when Durst began.
That was first to Durst. That was episode 18, guys.
Was it really?
Yeah, Dice of Destiny. I didn't realize how young it is.
It felt like we started that so late in the game.
Yeah, but no, we've been doing Dice of Destiny. We originally did it in random parts of the episode, and it was more of like a main segment instead of like an anchor. But yeah, it's been around almost as long as we've been around.
Wow.
So that's pretty crazy. Yeah, episode 18.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to do this one. This is my favorite one. I had to go back through I had to go back through so much chat to find this one. So, when we first started, we had a very hard time coming up with a name for the show. What, JD, was your number one choice, and why didn't we go with it?
I believe it was 3L. No. No, it wasn't 3LC.
No, it wasn't 3LC, but you're close.
Oh, holy shit. It was so good. It was really good.
There's some good ones in there.
Oh shit!
I even took a screenshot of the you made a logo. You made a logo to demonstrate what you think it should look like. It was very basic, but you made it. Do you want me to give you some multiple choices? If I give you multiple choice, you'll get it.
100%. Like I want to say DL3 or
You're
something.
so close. It was
something.
PV3.
Player
It was a
versus
play.
3.
It was a play off of
PvE.
PvE, and you flip the E around, and so it's a
it was
PV3.
a 3. PV3 would
And
have been really
Why didn't
good.
we go with it?
We didn't go with it because Dylan, our producer at the time, didn't think that it was intuitively gamey enough. Like any average person would see it and know it was about video games.
Yes,
Which is why
And-
our podcast name is so explicit.
So, and also, Spencer was not on board with PV3 at any point through the chat. He was not on board. So when we brought a bunch of names to the producer, and he said,
did he
PV3
nuke
or 3-bit, it was 3-bit. What we brought to him was 3-bit or PV3, and he was like, PV3 is okay. I like 3-bit better, but we should add like 3-bit gamers or something like that, so we know it's about games. And then that's what happened, how we became 3-bit gamers. JD, you were the one to initially recommend 3-bit. That was a JD recommendation.
Really?
3-bit gamer wasn't in. We all gave our top 3. After the whole conversation, it was not in my top 3. And it was your number 2, Spencer's number 1. It didn't even make my top 3.
What was your top 3?
Oh, I can't remember. Oh, so
PV3 is so damn good.
PV3 is good. I liked, of course, you know, I liked my SLC Silver League Champions.
Ooh,
which
that one was
you guys
really
didn't
good.
like. Game Overpowered. Game Over and Overpowered mixed together. Game Overpowered. That was one that we talked. So let me tell you what my number 1 was Silver League Champions. Spencer's number 1 was NPC. And how that came about was hilarious. Reading the chat, you and Spencer were talking about it. I was like not on or something, and you said, "Let's name it the No Petersons Club." And Spencer was like,
that as his serious
"No,
number 1."
You said you were just joking. You said, "Let's make this the No Petersons Club," and Spencer was like, "NPC," and
Done.
you were like, "We have to do that. We have to." But there was an NPC podcast already that exists, so which is why we didn't do it. Your number 2 choice, which was our number 1 for a while, was Nerfed.
The Nerfed podcast.
Yeah, Nerfed, and it wasn't taken. I don't know why we bounced off that one, but we were talking about that as number 1 for a long time. But let me give you the list. I made a list of a bunch of our ones that we talked about seriously for a while. Oh, by the way, JD's solid, one of his solid contestants that he really pushed for at the end was Some Like It Bot. You remember that one?
That is so
Some
good.
Like It Bot.
Some Like It Bot? That is so specific to the time period at which we were naming this.
Yes.
That's a
Some Like
reference.
It Bot.
That's a reference to the fact that I like to play bot games against
Bot games,
not
bottom
people.
lane,
bottom
all sorts
lane
of things.
Some Like It Bot. Fuck, dude, this just makes me
Yep.
sad now.
So
Reboot the podcast.
some of the other names were Salt Lake Gamers Union. That was Spencer. You had Salt
Oh.
Lake Pity. That was you. League Night, of course, which is how this all started. League Night was the top one. Dating Sim Rejects was one that we seriously talked about. PV3 came about because you said PvPvP.
Which is that one's good too. PvPvP. That's
Yeah.
super funny.
Bullet Hell was one you wanted, but then you were like, oh, that's going to be a Second Amendment podcast. Rage Quit.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Gamers by Night, Cheat Code, Game Over podcast. I was pushing for Beatdown Boulevard, which no one was interested in. And there was a bunch of others, but the big ones were Silver League Champions, NPC, nerfed, game overpowered, some like it bot, and then 3-Bit Gamer legitimately didn't get talked about until the very end. Like the very end of the conversation. And JD even made it a big point early on that he did not want gamer in the title of the show. He's like, I don't want to be called gamers. Like, gamers has such a connotation. I don't want gamer in there.
It still does.
And
It
we-
still
and
has a
we-
connotation, you guys.
And now it's in the title. That was like your second or third point that you made in the conversation that we had when we started it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think what boiled down was that it was Dustin's final call, or Dylan's final call, and
That's how the name came about.
he made it.
It was
Yep.
almost PV3, and JD had a logo drawn up and everything.
Guys, drop by, drop into our Discord. I want to know what your favorites were, or if you think 3BG was the best, if you liked PvPvP, PV3, DL3. I don't fucking know that one.
You did say
real.
downloadable content, and you were pushing for DLC.
and
then I
you're
was like,
that's
JD,
a real podcast.
It's already a podcast. It's a big one, too. You can't just do
Nah,
that.
just steal it. That's fine. Okay, so I have that's
Okay.
great. That is some great trivia. I have a good one for you. When was the last time we talked about a mobile game on this podcast?
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, you can do rough, but I know the date.
I'm going to say it was... Oh, I'm going to give you a date. I'm going to
Yeah.
give you a date. And this is just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
This is just a guess. I'm going to give you month and year.
Okay.
It was May 2019.
Oh, no, it was January of 2020. It was actually a Dice of Destiny game you ended up playing.
I rolled a mobile game, didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh,
You ended
my
up
gosh.
playing... Oh, what the hell was that?
Oh, was
I
it a secret room or something like that?
Yeah, but you played a mobile game like right before the lockdown. So that was, and then we haven't talked because I think that's why, because we're all home and there's like not that much time for mobile gaming because you're not out and about that much, which is when I would generally game on my phone.
That's
so
crazy.
isn't that
We
crazy?
haven't-
Because we did.
We need to do a mobile game again.
Yeah, we got to start playing a little more mobile games on our phone and I don't think that they've been. I mean, when's the last time you heard about one like really taking off or people playing a lot?
Not
Because-
great.
That's the thing, is that everyone's home, so they're not really playing them.
Can I say though, because the pandemic did drive me towards one mobile game, which was mobile phone blackjack, because I gotta
Nice.
get my gambling in somehow, and I can't go to a casino; they're too gross. So I'm playing digital blackjack.
Nice. That'll
So,
count.
thank
We'll
you.
count that, I guess. And then
Okay. Oh, you
yeah,
want
I
to do
wanna
one?
No, I want to hear yours.
What was the catalyst for our 2v1 segment?
Like the first one we had,
Yeah, why did we decide, this should be a segment?
was it the ham argument?
That was a good one, by the way. Ham argument was great.
The impetus for 2v1.
And I remember this without looking it up because
Well, I saw an early 2v1 segment that we did. The only one I can remember off the top of my head is whether or not you should research and learn about games before like playing them, or whether or not you should just go in dry. But I assume it wasn't that one.
it was not. So if you're unfamiliar, if you're a newer listener, we used to do a segment called 2v1 where we would gang up on one of the other people and do an argument. The one never won, I don't
Because
think.
it was a vote at the end, and so
Well, and
two
it
people
was
would
just like
vote
a
that they'd
beatdown.
won. Yeah,
And that's what we wanted to do. When
it was
we
perfect.
when we thought about this, we're like, let's just have two people gang up on the other one and bully them into submission. That's what we want to do. We stopped doing that mostly because, we once Spencer left the show, we didn't have like a third that we were constantly talking. I don't want to bully Danny, right?
No.
I don't want to because she's just too
Don't even
wonderful.
super want to bully Trent. It's too easy.
He
Not
would
that
just
fun.
take it. He would just take it because he knows. No, so 2v1 happened because I offhandedly one time told you guys, like, I do not understand why people go back and play play nostalgic games that they enjoyed in their past. It's never worth it. You always go back and play it and you're disappointed. It's not very fun. Why would you buy that? And you guys went off. And then it morphed into me saying, I don't like 2D side scrollers. And you guys lost your freaking minds. It became a throwdown on there was personal attacks happening.
This is on air? What episode was this?
No, this was via chat. And then you were like, dude, we got to make this into a segment where we just argue 2 versus 1. And we were like, okay, let's do it. That's how 2v1 was born. You guys ganged up on me for not liking nostalgic games.
Which I feel like you've changed your tune on a little bit.
I don't like to play games still from that I enjoyed in the past because I still maintain the point. Every time I do, it's disappointing. It never like hits. It's always like it ruins the memory for me a little bit because it's not as good of a game. Like if I went back and played GoldenEye on the N64
well, that
right
one's
now,
not fair because that is rough.
Yeah, that's the thing though. But I have great memories about it. You know?
So I have a question. What can you name? You can either guess the episode or I can give you a multiple choice with episode numbers. What was the first use of the word blurst on our podcast?
Oh my gosh.
I can give you 3 episode
I know it was
numbers.
Spencer. Spencer said it.
Yeah.
Give me 3 episode numbers.
Episode 3, episode 19, or episode 33?
3.
Nope.
3. What?
Episode 19, the back to school episode, was the first time we introduced the term blurst. And it was actually introduced as its own standalone complaint segment where we talked about the blurst of something in
Really?
video gamings. Yes.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, it was not like the blursties. It was like a
I do not remember that at all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's get through.
I got a couple more
Get
for
through
you.
the rest of these.
What was the first segment idea that we ever had?
Ooh.
I have a multiple choice.
Okay, yeah.
2v1.
Okay.
Explain the hype.
Okay.
Is it worth it?
Uh-huh.
And 2 minutes hate.
Explain the hype. It
was 2 minutes hate.
That was the first one?
Yes.
Wow.
JD immediately.
Wasn't even a good one.
This is JD wanting to be salty, and we were like, we don't, we have changed our tune, I'll tell you that. We were like, well, we don't want to like crap on a game for too long. No one wants us to hear us be negative all episode. And so let's do it fast. So
let's condense it.
JD was like, okay, I'm just going to have 2 minutes where I rant about something, how bad it is. And we called it 2 minutes hate. That was JD's very first segment idea. It was the first one for like an actual segment that we had. And it was, no surprise. It was your idea, JD.
Oh, yeah. No. And now I just do those rants whenever I fucking feel like.
Just
no dedicated time whatsoever.
30 to 50 minute hate.
30-minute hate on Amazon. You guys got that earlier today, so you're lucky. Okay, let's get the next one.
Who was the most stressful guest we've ever had on? Stressful.
Well, I mean, Jay showing up an hour late was pretty stressful.
That's the one. We did episode 2 of the Blursties, right?
Yeah.
Jay Whitaker came on. He's a local comedian. He's on the Geek Show. Been podcasting for a long time.
He's
and
great.
It was a really good episode, you guys.
Oh,
it was
so good.
The episode turned out good, but he was like an hour late.
And he showed up and he's like, so we're doing the Blur season. This is like, so first of all, we booked this guy like weeks in advance. He's like, so this is like the worst of the year. And we're like, yeah, he's like, this is super not my brand. I'm like usually really positive and stuff. And we're like, Jay, buddy, what are you doing to us?
I've been talking to you about this for so long. He was not ready, not necessarily on board. But he actually came in and did very well.
I mean, he's a really good podcaster. Yeah, I think has much more experience than
with
us.
Lots of improv.
He's a really good comedian, so that he crushed it. But
Yeah,
we started out so stressed, like, oh my God, what are we supposed to do? Because it was our second Blursty. So it was like, we're getting into it, like whatever. But
Yeah,
that's
the first
a good one.
The first Blursty was Christian Spicer, and he was extremely prepared for it.
Oh my God.
Like he had everything nailed down.
We have had some absolute pros on this podcast.
Yep. Who was our favorite guest?
Our favorite guest?
There is a clear favorite. We talked about it several times.
Who is our favorite guest?
Danny, who's now a regular.
Well, yeah.
After
that's
she
kind of
came
not
on,
fair.
and
Yeah.
she came
She was
on.
so good.
Her first time was it was like around episode 50 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately we were like, she's the best guest we've ever had. This was post Christian Spicer,
Yep.
who was fantastic. And we were like, she was amazing.
Yeah,
And she
Danny
still
was
is.
stellar.
Danny
That's why
is so good.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I have one. How
Okay.
many degrees of separation are between the 3-Bit Gamer Show and the MCU?
Well, let's see. At what point do we hit Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, right.
How many degrees of separation? I'm gonna say this is I'm just gonna guess because I have no idea, and I'm so interested to hear this. I'm gonna say 6.
1.
What?
The 3-Bit Gamer Show is 1 degree of separation away from the MCU because our guest, an early guest, Donald Mustard of Epic Games, is actually in the scene in Endgame.
What?
Yeah, dude, you can see him on he was an extra. He played one of the wizards, like
I
the
did
Doctor
not
Strange
know that.
wizards. Yeah, he like had a mohawk thing, dressed
Now I
up.
gotta
Like,
look this up. No way.
yeah, Donald Mustard is in Endgame.
No way. That is wild, dude. Guys, we've made it.
That's what
We're
I'm saying,
famous,
man. We
right?
made it. Yeah, he's.
Oh my gosh, there he is.
Yeah, 3.2 seconds. He's in the MCU, so we are officially 1 degree of separation.
Guys, I'm next. For real.
Let's get to 0 degrees.
We are the MCU podcast, the official MCU podcast.
It's not what we chose. It just was bestowed upon us. Okay,
Dude,
what else you got,
that
Peterson?
Is crazy.
I'm sorry you didn't
cannot
know
get
that.
Over that.
I'm sorry you didn't know that. That's so fun.
Okay, for the first 2 years, we did year-end challenges in the early part of the show.
Okay.
Yearly challenges. We
Okay.
had one back-to-back champion. Who was it?
You?
JD, Peterson, Spencer, Dylan, or none of the above?
It was you.
It was me. You know
You
why?
always win our. That's why. Why do you think we don't do them anymore? Because I'm a poor sport. Why do you think we don't do that?
These guys year one, I just claimed myself the victor, just relentlessly. There was not an actual victor. In year 2, I made a point that I was the only one keeping track of my own score until you guys just stopped. And then I was like, I'm not going to say anything for years. And this is the first time I've brought it up.
Wow.
When we actually did a scoring system, we talked about it on the show.
Oh,
We
yeah.
wrote it out. I was the only one that kept track long enough. And by the end of the year, I had the final score. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want JD to come in and steal it at the end just by filling it all in. So, guys, back-to-back 3BG champion Peterson, the one and only. No one's ever going to take it from me.
Dude, this is that classic method of winning where
Yeah.
you convince your opponent not to show up. So, like, you have a kickball team and you make your name no opponent. So when
Dude, I saw that story. Are you kidding me? That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
or when like you get a text from your competitor and they're like, "Hey man, really excited for the race tomorrow," and you know the race is today, but you don't tell them, and then you go win the race against yourself, and then you fucking do a victory lap a year later.
I am not above doing
Congrats.
anything like that. I will take the W any way possible. I am not above it. I'm sorry.
Okay, I think that's all of my.
I just have one.
Yeah.
I've got a couple more, but I'll just do one more.
Well, let's
Yeah,
hear if they're good. Let's bang through them.
Okay, who was our first guest ever?
First guest ever was shit. Who was our first guest? Was it? It wasn't Trent, was it?
No.
Was
and this
it?
one surprised me.
Um.
It was Lynn.
Oh yeah, Lynn was
Lynn
our first
was
guest.
our first guest, and I think she was our second guest.
Yep. Lynn was like fairly regular early on.
That which I did not realize it was Lynn so early. I thought she came later. And yeah, Lynn was our first and second guest.
Yeah.
And then who, let's see if you can remember the name, who wrote the theme music?
Mike Weist. Mike
You
Weist wrote our
remembered it,
theme
dude.
music. I said his name 100 times.
And then we stopped. We kind of stopped doing it because we were like, oh my gosh, we've said it 100 times. Mike Weist is my cousin. When we started the show, Dylan was like, hey, you guys need a theme song. I don't know how you want to get it or what. And we were like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get a song? And so I was like, well, my cousin does music. He's very talented. So I reached out to him. I thought it was a shot in the dark. I was like, hey, Mike, we're doing a podcast, a gaming podcast. Do you want to we'll pay you if you want to write us a theme song? And he was like, no problem, bro. I got it. That was like 9:00 at night. The next morning when I woke up, I had our song, the song we play at the beginning of every episode. I had that in my inbox. I listened to it and I was like, oh my gosh,
There
this
it
is
is.
so good.
That's the
I
one,
was
yeah.
shocked.
We
And
were
I was
also
like,
stoked.
dude, Mike, he was like, oh, tell me if it's not good enough. And I was like, are you kidding me? I love it so much. And that's how our theme song came about. My cousin gave it to us in a night. He wrote it in a night.
Awesome. Good job, Mike Weist. Is that it?
That's all my questions.
Okay, that is awesome. That was some fun trivia. I like that both of us didn't know some of those things. I hope you
man.
listeners cared about that or just turned it off because you're like, oh, we just started listening 3 weeks ago. What the hell?
They're like, why didn't we call it the PV3 podcast?
Why am I turning it off? I'm going to go find the PV3 podcast. That sounds way better than this one. All right.
That's the name of the sode, by the way, PV3.
Ah, damn it, Peterson.
And I'm putting your image into the image you made.
I'm so sad right now. Actually, this is the closest I can get. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, he got his victory.
All right, let's move on.
Dice of Destiny.
All right, Dice of Destiny is this awesome game we have been playing for 3 years. You guys have been playing this game forever. We've changed our rules up a little bit, but we now have somebody roll. We roll to see who will be rolling the Dice of Destiny, which is a 20-sided dice with 20 different game genres assigned to it. And then we have that person find a game in that genre for a price that they roll for, and then pick that game, play it, review it. Peterson recently rolled a building game for $20.
This one was a little hard, mostly because of the $20 price point. There were lots of $30 games that I was interested in, but eventually I landed on a game called Kingdoms Reborn by Earthshine Studios. I think this is their only game. Kingdoms Reborn is, if you've ever played Banished, it's very much like that. It is you are building a city. It's like a basic Sim City where you start with nothing and you build a town hall, and then your colonists or whatever they're called, they are not you don't control them at all. They just kind of go about their daily life. You're just building the city out. You got to build them places to live and places to work and things to eat and all that stuff. This game does what it does well. The menus are actually very good. The landscape is fantastic. The actual building of it is really nice, and the options you have for moving stuff around and designing your colony the way you want it to look. And that is kind of all of the positives I have to say about this game. It's not a bad game, but it's not a great game either. It's just okay. Because it still is, and you always have to give the caveat, it's still early access, and it feels like it's missing stuff. There are no events that happen, at least not in my 6, 7, 8 hours of playing or whatever.
Yeah.
No events happened where it typically in these games you see like, crap, here comes a blizzard or a tornado or something like some catastrophic event they got to bounce back from. This, there was no event. And then I did get excited, and I think I mentioned this to Aaron. I got excited when there was like, I was building a barracks, and I was like, oh, sweet. Is there going to be like a combat element to this? There's not. The barracks is actually kind of pointless because you're playing with other. I was just playing with AI, so just some NPCs. There was 7 other NPC characters playing with me. I never got close to any of them. And in fact, I was on an island, so I didn't even know how I could get close to them. And it felt like the impact they had on the game other players had on the game was going to be very small. So, and it wasn't particularly challenging. So I got kind of bored of the game because it just got really samey. I liked the way you build was very, very different. It was more like a card draw type of thing. Every time you unlocked a technology from the tech tree, it would unlock cards, and it would be like, oh, now we've unlocked the lumber yard, or we've unlocked the library, right? The different buildings you could build.
Yeah. But
you didn't just have those cards. And it was on a timer. I think it was 2-3 minutes. I think it was 3 minutes. Every 3 minutes, your cards available would reset, and then you'd have to buy them with your money that you had, and it would show like 5 cards you could buy, and it was like the different buildings. So you'd essentially buy that building, and then you can play that card whenever you wanted. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit different than like you just have a menu and you can build anything in the menu that you've unlocked. You had to actually get that card, which made it a little bit of a strategic aspect because you'd have to like, okay, I think I'm going to want this. I don't want it now, but I'm going to save the card for later, and you can't have too many cards in your hand. But all in all, the game is early access. It feels early access. It feels like
how much is
missing. It's $20.
Oh, dang.
It feels like it's missing stuff. It feels kind of empty. It's fun at first, but then it just kind of loses its luster pretty quickly. And it made me very sad because after I had to pick, a game came out called Valheim, which it just came out. This game is making all sorts of waves. This is one of those like indie darlings that we talked about a few weeks ago that just came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. People are freaking out about this game. It came out on the 2nd. It has overwhelmingly positive reviews, 11,000 reviews on Steam in a week, and it's overwhelmingly positive. People are loving this game, and it's a building game. The same type of game. It's more like a survival building game. So now I'm sad because I was like, dang it, why didn't I get this game? So I'm actually probably going to buy Valheim and just play it and just talk about it later because it does seem like the type of game I'd like to play, and it's got all those elements, the survival, the building, all that sort of stuff. So I'm sad I didn't play that one. So all in all, though, Kingdoms Reborn, it's a buy on sale, and it's a wait for a sale in a year when they've added more content for the game. Again, it is not a bad game. It does what it does well. It's just empty. And so after 6 or 7 hours, I was kind of bored.
That's just a bummer.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that means that we're rolling again. We will roll why don't we roll a 4-sided dice to see who will have the dice.
Do you want
1 through 3? Yes.
Yeah, because
1 through 3 and Peterson will take 4.
Times.
I'm sick of it. God damn it.
Did you roll a 4?
Yes. I was thinking
I'm
to
in it,
myself,
baby. Look, I'm not mad about this at all. I am
I know.
in.
I'm so annoyed. That's your destiny. Your destiny is just playing dice for the next
Just
3
playing
months.
tons of dice.
Okay,
games. I'm fine with
and
that.
we're gonna roll this 20, and it gives us a 6, and a 6 is a adventure.
Oh,
Yeah, that is cool. What a cool genre. So Peterson will be playing an adventure game. Adventure is off the deck, and horror is on. Horror is on again, Peterson. That's some good trivia. That's the trivia item we should have had. If you guys don't remember the original Dice of Destiny, for some reason, within a couple of rolls of the dice, Peterson ended up getting like 3 or 4 horror games in a row, at which point someone suggested that we should rotate the list. And
guys, I was so sad. I cannot play that many horror games.
no,
It makes
was
me sad. My gaming sessions were depressing. I was anxious.
No, it was a bummer. Okay, so and then we will do finally to see. We'll roll a 6-sided dice to see how much you can spend on your. And it's $60.
Oh,
so
good. I was
Peterson
gonna say,
can
give
get
it a high number so I can actually like have my pick of the games this
Dude,
time.
I'm telling you, you know what you should spend that $60 is $15 on Ubisoft Plus, because then you could get any $60 adventure game that they have, which is extensive.
We'll see about that.
I'm sorry, Xbox Game Pass. I'm sorry. I just have to be honest with our listeners.
It's
There's
fine. It's
other
fine.
stuff
Look,
out there.
We still love Games Pass. Ubisoft Plus is a phase. It's a phase.
I'm just going through a phase, okay? It's just something different. I just wanted something different, okay? I want to feel special for once. Gosh. All right, guys. That does it for us this week. Thank you again for 200 episodes of sticking
Guys,
around.
thanks for hanging out. We love it. We do this show. We've done 200 episodes because we actually enjoy doing it. This is something JD and I love. And a big part of that is our listeners, right? If we didn't have all the engagement, just all the amazing listeners that we have, I can tell you we wouldn't be doing this anymore. We love our listeners and we love doing the show. So thank you to you guys.
Yeah. So thanks for sticking around all these years. Hopefully we got another at least 4 years more in us. Maybe we'll get better. Wouldn't that be cool?
I doubt it.
Yeah, don't hold
This
your
is-
breath, you idiots. All right, to play us out, we have the music from South Park, The Stick of Truth, which, spoiler alert, I've been playing you guys because it's on Ubisoft Plus, and I get to finally play it. Find us on Discord, find us on Facebook, on Twitter. I hear Facebook's a bit of a ghost town. Twitter's not much better. Discord, if you're not on Discord, where the hell are you? And you can't, in our Discord's so great because it's an adventure to find it.
Yeah.
Just kidding. If you actually want to find our Discord, go to our Twitter and click the link that's on our bio. It's so easy.
So easy.
All right. Guys, I'm JD, logging off.
This is Peterson going AFK.
Peterson Productions. Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, I found from the vaults of an alternate reality the intro to an early episode of a podcast that never existed. Check this out.
PV. 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 PV3. Player 3 has entered the battle.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the PV3 podcast. Player 1 checking in. I'm JD. Player 2 here. I'm Peterson. And Player 3, Spencer here. We've got a full episode for you guys today, but make sure you stay tuned till the end because I, JD, have a major mea culpa because I was wrong about pretty much everything I said on the podcast so far. So stick around for that. But right now, our weekly segment on why Peterson is the best gamer of all of us. And, oh, man, have I got a long list for you guys today. Yeah. Oh, Peterson, man, he's just the best, isn't he, right, guys?